Hello everybody. Well, we're between the semi-final and the final, so let's see if England's men can match England's women, shall we, and bring it home on Sunday. I don't think I've jinxed it yet. Quite a bit of this film is going to be about things that happen on our estate, and also a bit of a shout out to colleagues who work in our facilities team. And I've spent time with some of those teams over the last few days, and I'm constantly impressed with the diligence and the kindness that people are bringing to the important work that they do. So firstly, in terms of the work we're doing across our estates, there's probably a couple of things to let you know. The first is that we're engaged, and we've been engaged for a little while now, in quite a big project of trying to change our grounds and gardens. So first of all, the Ardash team are taking over the grounds and gardens at Swallow Nest and at Great Oaks. So we're one trust operating together. And I've been with some of the people involved in that, and they're really looking forward to getting stuck in to making sure that we're able to support grounds and gardens across all of our organisation. But secondly, particularly at Tick Hill Road, there's a big change going to be going on over the next few months where we're going to try and wild or rewild more of our communal areas, so some of the big lawns and so on. And we're going to try and focus more of our gardening time into the clinical patient-facing spaces that we have. That's a really important, quite complicated project if you think about it, because we've got to work with patients, got to work with ward teams, got to work with our gardening teams to find the right balance in the gardens that we have between safety and aesthetics, between work that might be done as occupational work by a patient versus what we might have our gardeners or indeed some of our volunteers do. So I guess I think it's quite an exciting transformation. I'm grateful to people who've stepped up to move it forward, but categorically the gardens around our clinical environments are part of the therapeutic experience, so it's right that we invest in those areas. Then the other thing that's changing in estates is by the time we get to August, we'll have a new online reporting system for all of your estate queries. What that will mean is that teams are able to prioritise, and also you're able to see in your department data about how long you're going to wait to get a resolution. I know Mark and Laurie and others have worked really, really hard to get that in place over the last little while. It's an important change that brings transparency to how we're working in the estates function as we have within our IT help desk as well. It's really important that we have the right environments to work within. So as I say, a few things happening in that space. Perhaps more on the facility side, obviously we've had the new ordering system for food. There's a lot of work going on around the equipment that we need to keep the organisation, particularly clinical environments, clean. And there's a big drive on to see if we can up our performance against some of our place standards, particularly the quality of our environments for patients, carers, staff in terms of disabilities, which I mentioned when I spoke to you last week. So thanks in advance to Lisa and the team for all the work that's going in to trying to tackle the issues associated both with disability and with dementia in terms of our workplace environments. Elsewhere in the organisation, one of the things that's taking up a lot of time and energy at the moment, I think is really exciting, is getting on with all the hiring that we're trying to do, getting on with converting roles to have support around apprenticeships. It's a massive scaling up of what we're trying to do. At the same time, as you'll remember, we've put in place those very different controls to try and eliminate the use of agency staffing. So I know if you're running a director at the moment, if you're running a ward, if you're running a care group, if you're working in HR and other functions, there's a lot of new stuff to be juggling. And I just want to acknowledge, even if we all think those are the right changes, they're still difficult and hard work to put in place. But I guess the big message is we are out there trying to recruit. We're succeeding in recruiting. There's a real commitment to apprenticeships. And of course, from April of 2025, we will be a real living wage employer as well. So there is if you like, a clear offer there into our local community, both about career development and about justice around wages in our organisation. So agree, disagree, but don't be surprised that that's the narrative that supports things like Promise 9 and Promise 25. And of course, if you're not sick of hearing me talk about the promises, you can come to our annual members meeting, which is the not outdoorsy bit of the Family Fun Day a week on Saturday. Don't look at the weather forecast right now. It's looking a bit mixed, but bring a brolly or hopefully the sun will surprise us a week on Saturday in Clifton Park for our fun day. Thank you ever so much for the work that you're doing. Thank you ever so much for tuning in and listening to these vlogs. I know I kept saying I'd mention flu. Well, the flu vaccination campaign will start in September, so get yourself ready where you're working. Thanks a lot.